met my husband Neil at church in the US. We were introduced by his pastor in Harlem. And it was just weird because I didn't know why he wanted me to talk to Neil. Neither did Neil know why the pastor wanted him to talk to me.
I arranged to see her at a coffee shop on 121st Street and 8th Avenue in New York City. So I've been an investor throughout my career. And when you invest, a lot of it's about people. So I kind of said, so what's your story?
And I didn't even know that he was working in Wall Street. I didn't even know how much money he was giving away at that point. I think I probably found out from some of his friends 2 or 3 months down the line.
I was just totally amazed by her response in our first 5 minutes of God healed me from the loss of my parents through loving orphans that were just like me. It was literally like, after she said this, like, this will be your wife. I straight away knew.
My dad passed away when I was 12, and I was very close to my dad. I was like a princess to him. You know, it really left this void. Now that my shield is gone, I just felt like I was just out there in the cold, naked. I think a week later after we buried my dad, you know, we heard the news again that my grandmother died. And for me, I really could not contain that pain. How could all these bad things happen, you know, in one household and at the same time? You know, when I was trying to learn about Jesus, then my mother passes away. I just accepted Christ in my life. My mind was just filled with so much confusion, so much anger. I just felt like I was abandoned. I felt like I was this abandoned orphan and lonely. For me, that was a platform that actually God used to open my eyes and know that, you know, he might not use the people that I expect him to use. And that's actually things that started building my faith that God can use anyone.
Knowing about me, it's understanding my family is critical, and I think that starts with my dad.
Yeah.
I love my dad, I respect him, I treasure him in so many ways, but with him, I felt unsafe and unprotected from a very young age. And I made up my mind to protect myself when I was 6 years old. I also wanted to prove to everyone how great I was by how much I was giving. Jesus has been my protector, I just didn't really know he was there. It was probably 10 minutes into the first, this is when they started the jugs in South Africa, and there was a snippet in there from Tim Keller, who I really like. And Keller's like, the only God who had everything and gave everything to get you was Jesus when he died on the cross. And I'm like, yeah, I know this before. But then he goes, and he did that because he treasures you above all things. And so I will tell you, I just was like a puddle of tears in the corner of the table because I realized at almost 40 years old, I'd never believed that I never thought I was worth it. And I realized like all the broken patterns I had, even my generosity, flowed from a place of brokenness. As a consequence of that, I wasted easily $1 million of giving and tried to hire locals and work with what the church was doing. And I mean, I was taken advantage of in a million different ways.
And so one of the things when we met was, let's go to some of the projects, some of the people that you've helped, and let's go and assess really the impact, and even as a local, talk to them in their local language to really understand what is it that they're doing with the funds, because there was a lot of money that was going into this project, yet there was little to show for it.
You came out almost in tears, and because you saw the same shtick happening where people are kind of using my desire to serve and compassion to their own ends. And so I was like, if you ever talk in one of those meetings again, I'll never work with you again. You're a pure observer. You don't know these people, you don't know what they want from you, you're clueless. If you ever talk in one of my meetings again, I will not work with you.
Yes.
And suffice it to say, that was the last time I spoke in a meeting, and I've kind of been moved to board, strategy, stuff that I'm actually good at.
I just told him, I feel like a lot of the resources end up around big cities, Johannesburg, Cape Town, and Durban. That's where most of the NGOs are in South Africa. But no one is willing to go out to these areas, and I felt like we were called to reach out to these communities and actually create opportunities there that are sustainable, where fathers don't have to come to the cities and look for jobs and leave their families behind. If we create opportunities in these communities where mothers and fathers can raise their children together like it should be, then in that way I feel like it's a big win.
She was gone out to this godforsaken place every other weekend for months. I mean, I'd be sitting here on Friday afternoons at the kiddie table having dinner by myself. It's not that funny, actually, because I was like, why are you going there? It's 7 hours away, it's dangerous. I'm back in my protection mode, like, the roads aren't good, like, please, can we not work some, but she kept on saying, no, there's orphans there, they're great, they're doing great, but what about the rest of the community?
These were in areas where previously there was no economic opportunities, no investment, and we felt like something great could come out of there. That was when I started Bokamoso Impact Investment, with the whole idea of creating opportunities for employment locally that were sustainable and scalable. We created an incubation model which focuses on selecting 20 students from various villages, and from those 20 they go through entrepreneurship program, they go through basic farming, and also the spiritual part of it, of discipleship. They are then placed in their own fields to farm on their own. We talk about the narrative of making Africa the next breadbasket of the world, and it's starting with the farmers that we incubate on the ground. We want them to realize that they are the future of Africa. So part of our incubation as well is training them up to be disciples and help Africa rise.
I think our giving's different than a lot of people, because I actually think we're best at, and not that we're best at it, we're growing in it, but we're builders. Like, we're not givers, we're actually builders. The thing about giving is you can cut a check if you make money and then just go live your life and feel like you checked a box. Whereas I think the kingdom is much different than that. It's time, talent, and treasure.
Generosity simply means being a vessel for God's work. And God is so faithful in that He'll always supply needs for His children.